Dear students, today we are going to appreciate a poem composed by Shakespeare, 7 Ages of Men. Please keep ready your pen, pencils and exercise books. The 7 Ages of Man is one of the best pieces from Shakespeare's creations. This piece of poetic utterance is taken from his famous play As You Like It. Here the clown Jax is speaking these wise sayings. It's a monologue. Shakespeare's clowns not only entertain the audience but also make them understand the realities of life. They talk like great thinkers and philosophers. In one of his plays, the clown declares, "Life of man is just like a puppet. The threads of our lives are in the hands of God. He governs us all and we have to play our part as He wishes us to play." It's a tale full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. In the modern poetry, T.S. Eliot says, "Morning, evening, afternoon, I have measured my life with coffee spoon." Anyway, let's come to this poem. Shakespeare has divided man's life in 7 stages. The first stage is his infancy period.
Sir, excuse me. You use the word monologue. What is monologue?
A monologue is a short speech by one person to be used in a drama or a novel or a poetry as a literary device. Now please look into your books and read with me silently. The very first lines, "All the world is a stage." What a fine use of metaphor. The whole world is a stage and all men and women are merely players. The poet wants us to look deep into our heads and hearts and search within ourselves, what are we? Why are we here? What's the purpose of our coming in this world? Are we merely actors? Who is our director? What's our role on this vast stage? Are we mere puppets? They have their exits and their entrances. We come on the stage, play our part, and then depart. Is it all? In another play, I just can't recall the name, the clown says, "Life is a tale full of sound and fury, signifying nothing." It's a tale told by an idiot. This shows the nothingness of life. Why to be so proud of? For what to be proud of? All the beauty and wealth is going to melt down like a bubble into nothingness, and one day you will lose your identity. Nobody has time to think of you. Everyone is after his own part, his own life. After rousing the thoughts in the minds of the audience who are enjoying the play in the theatre, the clown slows down and his next dialogue. And one man in his lifetime plays many parts, his act being 7 ages. Of course, our life is just like a drama. God, the director, allots our part to us and directs us to play our parts as nicely, as well, as perfectly as we can. Here in a light vein, the parts are divided into 7 stages or 7 ages. Now next, groveling and pucking in the nurse's arms. The baby starts his life with crying loudly and weeping bitterly and then vomiting, even urinating in his mother's arms. It's a very exciting scene. His infancy period, how the mother, his nurse, takes care of him to bring him up. Then the winning schoolboy with his satchel. This is the second stage of his life, when he is sent to school to become a fine person, to be useful to society. But how much he struggles to show his unwillingness to go to school. He is rather dragged to the school, the first lesson to teach him to become a disciplined boy. The joys of infancy period are now over. He is a shining morning face, quite fresh, charming, having a glow with rosy cheeks. He looks graceful in his school bag. Now, keeping like a snail. Gradually, he learns to adjust with his classmates, and his schooling starts on gradually and grows up to be an adolescent. This is the start of his third stage. A lot of chemical changes take place in his body that disturbs his emotional world. He develops attraction for the opposite sex, a very natural process in human life. He becomes lovesick. He cannot bear separation from his beloved. He sheds tears in her memory. His heart burns like a furnace. He turns into a poet. He writes painful poems, expresses his intolerable separation from his beloved, tears flowing down from his eyes. The beauty of the eyebrows of his beloved makes him restless. He wishes to see his own image in her eyes. He can neither eat well nor sleep well. Knives become a curse to him. And that's the end of that sweet episode of his life's journey. It melts down in sweet, painful, poignant memory. Now comes the fourth stage. Then a soldier, full of his strange oaths and bearded like a pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation. Even in the cannon's mouth, he is now quite grown up to go in the field of activities. In Elizabethan times, army was the most attractive job for the young man. He prefers to be a soldier. He is full of his strength, energy, and always in a mood of throwing challenges. He prefers to have beard, as most of the young boys now prefer it to clean shave, and looks like a pard. He is as quick as a leopard. He is very much conscious about his reputation. Shakespeare shocks our minds by using the word bubble. Bubble reputation, that's nothing but melts down in no time. They are just the balls of air in water. Why to quarrel and shed blood for the sake of this false reputation? He is so full of zeal that he can take any risk. He is bold enough to enter into a cannon's mouth even in the very jaws of death. Now comes the fifth stage, and then the justice in fair round barrel, with a good capon line, with eyes severe and beard of a formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. Now Shakespeare diverts our mind to another field of working. When he is more matured, he likes to join judiciary. He wants to become a judge, a very prestigious job. He gives good advices, quotes quotations from quotations. His belly is so filled by eating cocks and chicken that takes a fat round shape. He collects lot of money in bribery.
Sir, what is capon-lined?
A common word used for injustice was capon justice, a term of contempt for bribe-taking magistrates. He becomes stern, severe, and keeps a beard like a formal cut. People get afraid of him. He looks terrible. Here, Shakespeare draws our attention towards corruption, even in judiciary. How people have double faces, double standards, posing to be very wise and talking loud about noble virtues, and secretly indulge in corruption to collect money more than what is needed for their standard living. This is weakness in human nature. Those who overcome it achieve greatness. One can be a man of knowledge, a man of letters, but not a man of wisdom. Now you can understand why Shakespeare is so great an artist. He did not have much schooling, but note what a great insight he had in the human nature. Now we come to the sixth stage. The sixth stage shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shank and his big manly voice. He starts getting decline in his health. The fire of youth starts getting slow. This is the shifting of age. His youthful dress now becomes loose for him. His trousers fall from his waist. He tries to pull them up again and again, but all in vain. His face gets wrinkles. He cannot keep his specs fitted on his face. He becomes very much conscious about his pouch. He always keeps it at his side. He doesn't want to part with his hard-earned money. He is afraid that someone may not rob his money. His loud, manly voice loses his vigor. He doesn't have the force in his speech. He can't speak loudly. Now we come to the last stage, the seventh stage. Turning again towards childish treble pipes and whistles in his sound, last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sense teeth, sense eyes, sense taste, sense everything. His voice trembles in his throat. It starts shaking. His voice becomes whistling. He cannot make clear what he says. And now the last part of his stay on the stage arrives. He is no more capable of making a struggle. All his body parts start declining, one after the other. He loses his teeth. His eyes loses their light. His tongue loses the sense of taste. He loses his memory. He goes into oblivion. Total loss of memory. He turns into a weak and ill child, has no chances for survival. He lays senseless, breathless on the ground. The curtain of his life falls down. The drama is over. Yes, Vibhay, please repeat the lines.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages.
So, again recall in your minds that you are born as an actor on this stage of world, and your part is as important as that of your favorite hero Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, or Akshay Kumar and many other actors. Now Vijeta, come on.
At first the infant, mewling and pucking in the nurse's arms. Then the winning schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwillingly to school.
So you can understand what great pains your mother takes to bring you up. Dear boys and girls, never be an ungrateful son. It's always better to have no son than to have an ungrateful son. Yes, Vibhay, now you proceed.
And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad, made of his mistress' eyebrow.
Remember that there can be no true love without tears. Tears are the indicators of the feelings and flood of emotions in your bosom. Yes, Vijeta, now you continue.
Then a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like the bard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth.
What's the meaning of youth if you look like a corpse, dull, lazy, unenergetic, without life? Only man with healthy body, healthy minds, and strong limbs can do wonderful works. His strength is life, weakness is death. Yes, Vibhay, now you pick up the thread.
And then the justice, in fair round belly with a good capon lined, with eye serve and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part.
You can understand that corruption and bribery is a very old disease in society, but it can never be appreciated. It's a curse on society. Now, Vijeta, Please you proceed.
The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose, well saved, a word too wide, for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again toward childish treble pipes.
So, never neglect the old persons in your family. Give them concern, care, and love. God will bless you. Yes, Vibhay. Now you complete the poem.
And whistles in his sound, last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sense teeth, sense eyes, sense taste, sense everything.
This is the hard reality of life. Everyone has to face it one day. So, always be prepared to face it boldly. You cannot avoid it. It's as true as your birth. Dear students, this is Shakespeare. He did not have much schooling. The world was his book, and he was gifted with talent to go deep into recesses of human mind. His qualities, disqualities, his virtues and vices, his strength and weakness, his character and the role of destiny in his life. Hats off to Shakespeare. He was really a man of wisdom. Now you write a critical appreciation of the poem and bring your answer books for check-up tomorrow. Have a nice day. God bless you all. Thank you very much.